Resilience, the ability to recover from or adjust easily to misfortune or change. Got to have it. It's going to happen, but man, we got to excel in it. The cracks of living life, playing in the NFL, fill them with gold, man.
It's week number 7 of this NFL season and time for another edition of the Mike McCarthy Show, powered by Reliant Energy. Inside the Globe Life studio here at the Star in Frisco, Bill Jones along with Cowboys head coach Mike McCarthy as the Cowboys are back home to take on the Detroit Lions. A noon kickoff Sunday at AT&T Stadium. And I know as the team gets healthier and you get back home, there's an extra excitement in everybody's step to get back on track this week, right?
Definitely. I mean, there's no place like home, so it's great to be back home. Just love it. We have the noon start, so we have to be ready to go. But it puts us back into a 7-day sequence. Obviously when you come off a Sunday night late game, get back at almost 4 in the morning. So it's gave the guys a little more extra time to rest up. Coming in here a little later on Wednesday, but Thursday practice was exactly the way it needed to be. I thought it was one of our better practices. So I feel like we're on track for an excellent performance.
And after Thursday's practice, we heard from Dak Prescott. He was feeling good about things. Of course, he was medically cleared for the first time earlier in the week. I know everybody's excited to have Dak back this week.
Definitely. I mean, it's his energy, his leadership, and obviously his ability to play the quarterback position is very important to success of our football team. I feel great about what we accomplished with Cooper Rush. I thought he did an outstanding job. But it's great to have Dak back. I thought he had a really good week's work. Thursday's practice really stood out. The ball really came out of his hand and was in sync with everything, and was really enjoying being out there. So I feel like we've had a good week.
What did you find out about your football team during this time, going 4-1 over this stretch without Dak?
Well, I thought the football team did a great job of just staying on line, and the line I'm talking about is complementary football. We talked about it at the start of training camp, and we've had the whole off season to look at last year and what we accomplished, more importantly how we accomplished it, but really who we wanted to be this year. So, and complementary football, the ability to run the ball, stop the run, just all those things that stabilize the game, and I think our special teams doesn't get enough credit, because they're also a big part of that. So the complementary football formula is working for us, but we definitely need to improve our production. Our execution production is not what we'd like it to be, and that's exciting because I think it just shows the growth and the capabilities that we have moving forward.
You're starting a 4-game stretch here against the NFC North, your old stomping grounds, but this looks nothing like the Detroit Lions teams that you faced when you were with the Packers with the turnover they've had. Dan Campbell's team, of course, he was with Joe Philbin in Miami. You know what kind of team that he likes to put out on the field. It is a team that plays very hard, isn't it? And it's very talented, too.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this is a football team that has a tremendous amount of talent, especially on the offensive side of the ball. I mean, my experience of going against the Lions is that they've always been so heavy, personnel driven on the defensive side of the ball, and have always had very good special teams. So, extremely explosive offense, very, very balanced offense. I think they're doing a really good job, particularly with some of their shifts and motions that are a little different than we've seen so far this year. So this will be a big challenge for us defensively. They got really good players on the front end and the back end, and it's something that we're really focused on. And their defense plays a lot of energy. They're downhill, they're fast reactors, and they do a good job flying to the football.
And their first-round draft pick, the number 2 overall pick, Aiden Hutchinson out of Michigan, sort of personifies that, doesn't he?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he's right in their wheelhouse. He's a great fit for how they want to play, and he's off to an excellent start.
All right, we're just getting started on this edition of the Mike McCarthy Show. Up next, it's David Moore of the Dallas Morning News.
The Mike McCarthy Show, presented by Reliant, is brought to you by AT&T, the official 5G innovation partner of the Dallas Cowboys. Ford F-Series, the best-selling truck in Texas. The University of North Texas, proud partner of the Dallas Cowboys. Miller Lite, the only beer of the Cowboys. It's Miller time. And by Reliant, an NRG company.
Welcome back to the Mike McCarthy Show, powered by Reliant Energy. Bill Jones now joined by David Moore of the Dallas Morning News, SportsDayDFW.com, Cowboys and Lions, and it is the return of Dak. And my question I pose to you, David Moore, is what can the Cowboys learn from the Cooper Rush stint as starting quarterback that can apply to Dak Prescott?
Cooper Rush did an outstanding job of executing the game plan, and schematically, it's the same thing that Dak will have. Now, the difference is Dak has the latitude to change plays at the line, and because of his experience, probably changes more plays at the line than Cooper Rush was comfortable doing. So now you get back into what was that formula that was working, and the run game was certainly accentuated during Dak's absence. So now I think it's incumbent on Dak, when you're talking about things you took from what you saw the team did in your absence, is, if you have a 3rd and 4 and you go to the line and you get a certain look, maybe you still say, well, this team is running the ball good enough now. I'm not going to option out of this to this throw and put it on my arm. And I think especially if he's working his way back in after a prolonged layoff, which this is, that is something maybe he needs to go against the tendencies of what we have seen in recent years.
Okay, so what effect do you think Dak can have on this team coming back? And not so much the play on the field, but just from a psychological standpoint.
Oh, a huge emotional lift. You felt it around here all week, and I know you can't quantify a feeling, but just the way people were talking, the excitement about Dak coming back. Only 3 teams in the conference have a better record, and all of them are on our schedule. And now Dak is coming back, plugged into this running game that looks pretty good. This offensive line that I would argue has exceeded expectations from what we thought going into the season, especially after Tyron Smith's injury, and a defense that has just been dominant. So I think there's a lot to feel good about. And it's not Dak riding over the horizon to the rescue. It is Dak coming back into a very good situation, and now you're going to be able to move that forward.
All right, Dan Campbell's Lions coming in here, and my question, I wondered, walking into the locker room, if one of the tricks that was used by Dan Campbell's Cowboys coach, Bill Parcells, if there might be some cheese hanging from the locker room because of the potential for this being a trap game.
Talked to Mike McCarthy earlier in the week, and he said he did not view this as a trap game. But it's not whether or not Mike McCarthy views it as a trap game, it's whether the players do. And I think coming off an emotional NFC showdown, with Dak coming back, where you feel some of our offensive ills that have started to appear are going to be addressed with his return. We get Detroit at home, it's the Lions dude, all of that. Certainly the outside chatter is going to be an expectation of this team should win this game. Dallas should win this game, but that doesn't mean they will. Detroit still ranks 3rd in the league in scoring, and they're coming off a shutout. Mm-hmm. I mean, it shows you how explosive this team is offensively, and they're a very dangerous offensive team coming off a bye week.
Coming off a bye week, and Dan Campbell coming home.
Yes.
Playing his high school football in Glen Rose, just southwest of Fort Worth. David Moore, we appreciate it. And up next, it's Zeke Elliott here on The Mike McCarthy Show.
This segment is brought to you by Blockchain.com. Trusted by millions. Trusted by America's team.
Hey, I'm Zeke Elliott, Dallas Cowboys running back. I say the season's been going pretty well. It started off a little shaky. Obviously we lost Dak in that first game, and we lost the first game. We didn't play very well, but Coop stepped in. He stepped up. He got us a 4-2. He went 4-1 as a starter. Defense balled out. They carried us. Offense, we did what we needed to do, and now we're here 4-2. I think, like you said, it takes everyone. It took everyone for us all to be successful, in those 5 weeks. I think, just the O-line did a great job, making sure the run game was efficient, making sure that we were able to run the football to take the pressure off Coop. And not only did they do a good job, blocking for the run game, but, keeping Coop clean, keeping them poised, keeping them comfortable in the pocket where he could not have to, feel too pressed and just go out there and play football. I'll say things will change just because, we got a leader back. I think it's no doubt in anyone's mind that, Dak's the leader of this team. And we all go as he goes. So I think we get our leader back, and he just adds another level of another weapon, to the offense. I think the success comes into just committing to the run game. I think it's easy to get discouraged in the run game early because, honestly, when you start the game, everyone's fresh. Those big guys are harder to block when they're fresh. So in the beginning of the game, sometimes it's going to be tougher, harder to run that football, but really the value of running the football is tiring down that defense. So it might not be the first 5 runs that are going to be effective, but it's really that 18th rush, that 19th rush, that 19th crack at it, that where you're gonna see maybe some explosives, and then not only that, but when you're running the football, it opens up that play action game. It just feels good. It feels good just to see those big guys across the ball huffing and puffing. It's a great feeling, and it's just it's easier to run it when they tired.
Zeke Elliott looking for another big day, this time against the Detroit defense. Will McClay joins us for a big day here with the telestrator out as we look at some of these weapons on the Lions offense, one of the top scoring offenses in the league, Will.
They're in the top of a lot of categories offensively. We'll take a look at why. First, we're going to look at Swift, averaging 8 yards a carry. The Dan Campbell bite you on your knee. They're going to get good angles, pin and pull, good angles, and they want him to get one-on-one with a DB, as you see there. He breaks the tackle, averaging 8 yards a catch, an explosive guy in the run game.
DeAndre Swift, that was his first carry of the season against the Eagles back in the season opener, went 51 yards, and he's hoping to be back this week against the Cowboys. In the meantime, they've been going with Jamal Williams. They got a two-back offense.
Two-back offense, thunder and lightning. Here you're going to look at, again, they do a great job of blocking, and then you're going to see him use his vision, his ability to cut. They're going to pull, and now they get him one-on-one. They don't set the edge. He bounces it outside. He outruns the defensive back, and a big play for a touchdown there. So running game is a big part of what they do.
All right, they're doing a lot in the passing game as well with Jared Goff and his favorite wideout, Amon-Ra St. Brown. He's put together a nice season.
Yes, he's got 3 receiving touchdowns. Not the biggest, not the fastest, but extremely tough and competitive. They're going to get in a bunch formation over here. Okay, they're going to get the motion, kind of see what the defense does. He ends up with a one-on-one. He's covered, but you'll see here at the end, the DB's got good coverage, and he just goes up and gets the football, attacks it in the air, his competitive nature.
Yeah, you can see it right there. Now, they made T.J. Hawkinson, their tight end, a first-round draft pick when he came out of college. Had 61 catches last year, and he's putting up some numbers this year, too.
Averaging 14 yards a catch, a big part of their offense, their most explosive receiving option. Here you're going to look at it. They're going to send vertical routes. He's going to chip, and then you're going to see the space and how they use it scheme-wise to get him open. All right, he's going to run vertical. He chips the defensive end. A little pressure. Goff finds him all that void, and then run after catch, and almost gets it in the end zone.
All right, there's one example there. Now you got a little play action here.
Yeah, a little play action in their offense. If you run the football, you got play action, and then you have your tight end. You'll see him come in the screen. But the play action, you'll see the linebacker suck up, and then he's going to find that void, and then just a great catch. His hands are one of the things that stand out, but an incredible catch in the crowd. First down for him.
Just a little idea of some of the weapons that Dan Quinn's defense is going to be up against this Lions offense. Will McClay, we appreciate it. And up next here on the Mike McCarthy Show, the head coach rejoins us.
This segment was brought to you by Blockchain.com. Trusted by millions. Trusted by America's team. This segment is brought to you by WinStar World Casino and Resort, the casino of the Dallas Cowboys.
Welcome back to the Mike McCarthy Show, powered by Reliant Energy here inside the Globe Life studio as the coach rejoins us. We saw from Will McClay some of those weapons that the Lions have on offense. And Jared Goff has only been sacked 7 times this season. When you look at this Lions offense, averaging their first 4 games of the season, they were averaging 35 points a game. And so they are doing a lot of good things offensively. And one of those things is they like to run the football, too.
Oh, definitely. They got a great 1-2 punch, no doubt about it. So, and And, and they're doing a good job protecting the football. And I think that, the thing I always look for in offense is their ability to stay on time. I mean, their pace operation, getting to the line of scrimmage, you can tell they have really good command of what they're trying to do. It's an offense that's in sync, and we're looking forward to the challenge.
Just listening to some of your defensive players, and DeMarcus Lawrence in particular, they are determined to get back out on that football field. They don't feel like that they were up to snuff last week, even though there were some situations there that provided opportunities for the Eagles. But you can just see the leadership out of that side of the ball.
No doubt about it. I just think it talks to the commitment and just talks to our locker room. I mean, these guys are so competitive. I mean, my God. If you'd watch them just play basketball with a tennis ball in a locker room, with garbage cans, it's I mean, you think they're going to bring the house down. So, no, I love this group. I love the way they compete. The emotional discipline wasn't what it needed to be Sunday night in Philadelphia, and it's a lesson that we all need to learn from. And that starts with me. We got to be better in those spots, and that's something that we need to take into this game. This is an uncommon opponent, but this is going to be a chippy game, and we got to be really good in those spots.
Your defense leading the league in sacks with 24, quarterback pressures as well, and you're getting contributions from so many. In past weeks, you've talked about how you've been impressed with Chauncey Golston and how he has come along here, and he got the most snaps he's had all season last week against Philadelphia.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and Chauncey, it's nice to see young players have success with their play time in games because it directly carries over to practice, especially the Thursday's practice. I thought Chauncey had an excellent Thursday practice, in the Detroit preparation. So, I just love it when these younger players get their opportunities, they take the next step, and that's all part of that second-year jump.
And how about the play of Malik Hooker this season?
Oh, yeah.
Malik, a guy who's now 2 years removed from his Achilles surgery a couple of years ago, and you can really see that athletically he's there and has confidence in playing like it, and he has emerged as a real leader on this defense too.
Definitely. I mean, just what a complete football player. I mean, the great athletic ability just jumps out at you immediately, but I don't think people, give him enough credit for what a tremendous competitor and tackler he is coming out of the middle of the field. Ball skills off the charts, can make all the plays. And let's not forget, he's wore the green dot for us too, so he has total command of the defense. So Malik's having a great year.
All right, we wrap up this edition of the Mike McCarthy Show in just a moment.
This segment was brought to you by WinStar World Casino and Resort, the casino of the Dallas Cowboys.
Final couple of minutes here of the Mike McCarthy Show, powered by Reliant Energy. Time for the Unsung Star of the Week. And again, this fellow is not unsung within the walls of the Star in Frisco. I want to talk about Terrence Steele, and I want to talk about how well he is playing this season. Here's an undrafted guy 3 years ago out of Texas Tech, and he really seems to be coming into his own there at right tackle right now.
Oh, definitely. Just love the growth that he's made both years. He's such a pro, so mature for his age, but he's playing very well. I just love watching him compete against our guys. I mean, just to watch him and Micah and DA and D-Law go after it, and it's really helped him, particularly in pass protection. But he plays the right way. His physicality, very intelligent. Him and Zach make an excellent right side.
I remember in training camp, Zach Martin was talking about Terrence, and he was saying, if you go look at the coach's film from last year, he was a big reason that when we had success running the football, Terrence Steele was a big reason why.
Oh, no doubt about it. I mean, if anything, like on double team blocks, if the only issue he has sometimes is he's too aggressive. So, I mean, but no, his attention to detail, he's an excellent young pro.
All right, and special teams, Kevontae Turpin, he almost broke one last week.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we were excited going into the game. It was first time outdoors on the grass, and we knew with the weather that we were going to probably have some opportunities in the return game. And the first one, unfortunately, he slipped on the bounce, and that had a chance to be. That was probably the best block of the returns. But, I thought Turp had a big night for us.
All right, we'll see what Sunday holds. Cowboys and the Lions, again, the early kickoff at noon at AT&T Stadium. Thanks for joining us here for the Mike McCarthy Show, powered by Reliant Energy.
The Mike McCarthy Show, presented by Reliant, was brought to you by Blockchain.com. Trusted by millions. Trusted by America's team. Ford. Ford F-Series. The best-selling truck in Texas. Bank of America. The official bank of the Dallas Cowboys. Miller Lite. The only beer of the Cowboys. It's Miller time. And by NFL Game Pass. You'll never miss a game again. Enjoy full and condensed game replays from Week 1 to the Super Bowl.